Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Republic. We are bottom tier and we are on the path to 50,000 subscribers. So if you guys have yet to subscribe, if you enjoy what we do, punch that subscribe button. Be a part of our journey to 50,000. That was a good transition, wasn't it? Y'all didn't see that coming. But I've got a great game for you guys. It's going to be freaking ridiculous. Hopefully you guys are ready. We're going to have the big hits. We're going to have all the things. This is going to be fantastic. Now, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I prefer Repub over Burgoyne. Like, that is not even a question. I would rather take this into a legendary match than a Burgoyne. But, man, oh lie, are we going to have some fun in this one. We're going to take in... We're obviously on Sea of Fortune. We're going to push off to the left side. And we're going to try to win our side. You guys know the deal. And then we'll flood back in towards the middle and see if we can't help the rest of the team. But, yeah, we're gonna initially push wide because we're not sure what we're up against. There are no destroyers. It's just cruisers and battleships. So, there's a lot of more opportunity to maneuver here. And we're going to try to point out some things. And I want you guys to know that when I point out things, whether it be my own stupidity or others... Please don't take it to heart that I'm just being a jerk, because I'm not. I want people to learn from this. These kind of games are a perfect example of, you know, moments where if small things had been done differently by anybody, then the outcome could have been vastly different. So keep that in mind. All right? Now, as we push out, you'll notice that we have a radar cruiser right in front of us. This radar cruiser is going to initially be right with us, and then he is going to set up shop and then just hide for the rest of the game until very end, in which case it's going to come down to a fun little fight. I always say that, you know, these games lately have been really fast, and this one was kind of fast, but at the same time ends up being a slow developing game later. And we made some really, really good decisions for the team that end up putting us in positions to just absolutely annihilate people. And the enemy makes some really dumb plays. But here you can see Yami appears to be starting to back up, so we take the shot high, anticipating that we'll be behind the island before he fires at us. And first shot out, not the best shot in the world, only a single pin for 5,000 damage. But we were spotted, and look at this Marlborough. This is the first of many who are just going to completely underestimate or just be completely incompetent. I don't know. But either way, broadside to a Repub is death. And especially in a Marlborough. He's lucky he survives the first shot, right? The dude just literally lost 2/3 of his health. 2 citadels in, 52,000 damage done. That's disgusting. Okay? Now, as we push forward, we're going to use the island for cover. And I'm kind of looking for a shot at the Mino, the Yami, or the Marlborough over the top of the island. And as you can see, Marlborough apparently has decided that, okay, well, I lost most of my health. I should probably not do what I just did. Now, here you can see I'm going to take the shot over the island at the Mino. We're not spotted because we have an island between us and the Yami. And we do actually hit the Mino, but unfortunately don't get the hit that we were looking for. Now, that being said, our team's complete and utter annihilation is underway. Remember, some of these games, some of the best games that you're going to have in this game is when your team is completely and utterly useless, at least on one side of the map. And I've said it before, I'll say it again, you only really need 1 or 2 people on your team to help you carry a game. And they don't have to be ridiculous players, they don't have to be, they just need to be useful. And I know that sounds crazy, it sounds like I'm being a jerk, but I'm not. I'm being honest. If you get 1 or 2 people on your team that are just useful, not crazy, just useful, then that can take and turn one of these great games into a legendary game. You know what I'm saying? I know, right? It's pretty funny. But look at this Yami. We're paying attention. We know that he's got our broadside. He's got his guns pointed right at us. We're the only thing he's really capable of shooting at the moment, but then he turns his guns away. So we're going to make him pay for it. We've got an angle that I feel pretty confident we're going to be able to take him out with. I leave the Marlborough for the cruiser because I'm figuring that the cruiser should be able to finish him off. He's done a pretty good job up to this point. We do manage to get a citadel. We're up to 90,000 damage already, right? And look at where the destroyer, or where the cruiser is right now on the map. The cruiser is still 2 islands away. Now, he's going to start bombing away at this Yami. But I really needed him to follow me here. I know what he's doing, and I know he's being useful. But look at the smoke screen ahead of us. There's a Mino just sitting there, right? We know this. If I had a radar cruiser with us, there's a good chance that before this guy's able to get away, he gets to be radared, and then we can absolutely neuter him. But, because we don't have that radar, we have to try to settle for charging the smokescreen, which is never a good idea, especially when you're in a battleship, and especially when you are up against something that can stack torpedoes. Because they can absolutely depth strike you. And just as we make a turn, the torpedoes pop up, and we do take one right on the belt. Doesn't do much damage, but it does cause a flood that's going to trigger a damage con. And you can see, rather than chase this guy, I'm like, okay, let's put ourselves in a position to counter this Yami. He's about to push in, right? So if we can get into a position, we can come around the corner and get ready to blap him. And that's when the Mino gets spotted. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot I can do about it, because my guns aren't where they need to be, because I just changed course. But Yami's pushing up. He's in a position where he's going to get blapped. I believe the Marlborough on our team actually ends up finishing him off. We try to get a shot over the island with the front gun. Rear turret of justice and truth, firing at the booty of the Mino. Yami goes down. And we manage to miss all around his ship. That's just the way it goes sometimes, right? RNG giveth and RNG taketh away. And don't worry, there will be plenty of RNG giveth for the rest of this match. But there's also going to be some really, really dumb plays coming up. Now, we gave up trying to chase that guy. Marlborough is now broadside to a Mino. We've talked about this. British battleships don't have a lot of armor, and a Mino will absolutely shred a British battleship. Minos shred everything, but definitely British battleships. But this guy, look at the map. He decides in his infinite wisdom that the best possible course of action, instead of sticking with the team and trying to do something over here, is to just come out broadside on in front of every goddamn battleship on the enemy team. Like every one of them. And Minnesota immediately tells him that that's a bad idea, as he loses all of his hit points. But don't worry, because there's Yamis and stuff over there too, and that's how quickly you can throw your ship away if you make stupid plays. Again, not saying he played bad the entire time, but you've got to recognize what the enemy team is doing at the moment, pay attention to the minimap, and don't make those horrific plays. You stay alive a little longer, and this match may have ended very, very differently. Okay? Just say it. And I'm not hating, I'm just pointing out the obvious, that if, certain players had done certain things differently, that we end up winning this match. But we're going to push up to a more central position, because look at the enemy. They're all broadside to us right now. If I can get to this gap, I can potentially absolutely ruin. We've already seen what we can do to a Yami that's broadside. The Repub 17-inch high-velocity guns are disgusting at farming broadside. So if you get them, you can absolutely turn the battle around in just 1 or 2 shots. Like, it's disgusting. It's so good. But, unfortunately, our friendly battleships end up dying just in time for us to lose our ability to spot these guys. And that means that when we get to the area, the only thing that we can see, Carnot, we go ahead and take that shot. That should be an easy kill. I'm going to try to get angled and beach. This isn't an intentional beach. We do manage to kill the Carnot. We want to angle against the Alaskas. The Alaskas are actually firing AG at us, which is very unfortunate, because it's actually the right move for them, because I got angled enough. But then the Minnesota is actually pushing around the left side. Huge play by the Minnesota to recognize, to counter-rotate. And again, little plays that people make all the difference. If this guy in the Minnesota had followed his team around, I am 90% sure we win this match. 90% sure. But because of his counter rotation, and because he just hit us for like 25,000 damage in one shot, that's going to end up being the death of us. Because we just lost a huge chunk of our health. Now, don't get me wrong. The enemy is going to do everything in their power to throw this match. They really are. Mino has set up in a position where he's not completely useless. He's actually in a crossfire position, so he can farm our broadsides. Bismarck is right off our bow, and the Yami is following him. And Yami gets a shot at us and gets a good chunk on us. But again, this is one of those situations where if you look at the map and look at what they're doing, we're going to try to counter them. Now, the next thing I want to try to do is get around this corner and angle away so that we're in a good position to kite/angle and deal with these guys. They've already shown that they are more than willing to just YOLO up in here, which is perfect for us. Now, Alaska, sitting in the middle of the map, he's using the island as best he can to shield himself. And you can see we don't really have the best opportunity to hit him. But as we angle away here, we should be okay and able to shoot his superstructure. We aim high, and we get the shot that we were looking for. All 6 out of the 8 shells hit the target, and 3 of them did damage to the superstructure. Over 15,000 damage done. But we get away with that. Now, I'm very aware that the Minnesota is pushing up on us. You can see where he's at on the map. So we're going to try to stay angled to him, but we're also going to make sure that we're in a position to tackle these battleships on our right. So, Bismarck, broadside, we take the shot a little early. A couple of those shells disappeared to the island. But we hit 5 shells on the broadside of the Bismarck and absolutely neuter him. Now, I'm trying to take some of the heat off of the cruisers at this point. I want the battleships to focus me. So I give him a little bit more angle than I should. And Yami is doing exactly what I thought he should do, except the fact that he's going full broadside to a repub at 9 kilometers. He fires at the enemy cruiser, and you can see I immediately tag him for, hey, finish this man off. I took all of his health. Switch targets, finish the Yami off. Bismarck is not scary at all. So, cruiser does exactly what he needs to do. Kills the freaking Yami, and then I go back, I aim high here, I want to aim upper side plating, and we absolutely crush the Bismarck again, trying to get as many shells on target as we can. Bismarck is absolutely dead at this point. So, Worcester finishes him off. And again, this is perfect. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the match. Me and this Worcester are the only ones that have done anything notable in terms of damage in this game. And it's going to show at the end. But here we have 2 Alaskas popping out. We're angled pretty well against the Minnesota and the, well, what do you call it? The Minnesota and the Mino. But unfortunately, both these Alaskas had AP loaded, and they caught us, and we're done. We did everything in our power to bring us back. But there's just sometimes you're just not going to be able to pull it off. And again, Worcester, fantastic job there at the end of paying attention, trying to, you know, prioritize targets that are threats, low health targets that we can remove quickly. I don't know how many kills that man ended up with, but it was quite a few. But Confederate high cal, 193,000, 1,700 base XP, and right there, right with me, is the Worcester. And the Seattle's right behind him. Not saying he didn't do a great job either, but yeah, Seattle kind of went a little bit backwards and should have maybe stayed with us a little bit instead of counter-rotating there, opening himself up to that Minnesota. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did you like this video? Is this one of those good teaching moments? You know, it had that freaking Marlborough not just pulled out broadside in front of the Minnesota Yami and everybody on the enemy team. And had he survived, I mean, think about it. He gets super heals. He probably only used 1 super heal up to that point in the match, because he died relatively early. So let's say he used 2. So that still leaves him with 2 super heals. I mean, come on. Like, that's a lot of potential damage that he could have been able to inflict. But, yeah. You know, it all comes down to a few key plays during a match that can completely change the outcome. And, not saying we would have won that, but if he stays alive, there's a good chance. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.